concentration, more stuff. And
That's amazing.
it's a jump start. It's like an 8-year jump start on the vine. And its own roots. We love own roots. We have to have some protection, but we love own roots. It's achieving it more gracefully. It's just getting there without being big and dumb.
But it goes completely away from the cranberry. It's something much more dark.
That first year we made the bottom, it was pure cranberry. It was pure cranberry. And then slowly it's starting to fill out. But yeah, it was pretty rough the first year or two. Leave that like that. Just to keep the timing going, I'm going to pull out these lines I brought.
Need some help?
No.
Has this been blended with the older grafted? No. This is the new. Okay.
We'll taste that next.
So this is how old?
This was planted in 2000, and this is the 08, so it's 8 years old. But it's really on a slow development. The vines are. We had to wait 5 years for a crop, and now it's just starting to get some concentration. Before that, we basically declassified it. It wasn't enough. We did it in 06. But it was just on a longer path. But that's that vineyard. We knew it. Okay, so let's go to the. Now we'll go to the upper, the one that's grafted over to the old roots. And that the fields, before we planted them in vineyards, they're about 40 years in hay fields. But the guy was a great farmer, passed away a few years ago, grew up on the property, and he farmed this place for hay for about 40 years. And he was a cheapskate because he grew up in the Depression. He never fertilized, and he put it on about half as much seed as you're supposed to. So it was never a full monoculture. It was always nice batch of other stuff coming in. And so, and he just fed his own horses with it. Because heaven forbid you buy hay. You have to grow it your own, And the horses, it was so funny. With that parking lot, used to be a part of this place, and there was a horse pasture there. We let him keep his daughter's horse there. And every morning, it was this funny thing. He'd come to his place, which was just down below, and I'd come here. We'd honk at each other, and he would feed the horse, and he would give the horse the stingiest amount of hay. And like, you son of a gun, you just eat money, And the horse looked at him like, you stingy son of a gun. The two of them had this relationship. And when he was gone, his daughter would come and give the horse more feed. Otherwise, the horse would starve. But here we got non-monocultured 40-year-old hay. And so when we planted the vineyard, all we had to do was to keep that soil structure. You got beautiful microbes, beautiful things in the soil. So we just had to keep it. So what we did was we mowed the field, laid out the stakes, planted the vines, and then that's it. So in the wintertime, we get the crop coming up, which is still that California red oats with a bunch of stuff mixed into it. And then what you do is you look, there's a stage about, and we learned this from the guy, he was perfect. First of all, if you hit the soil at the right moment, not too wet, not too dry, you use a disc, and the disc, it just turns it, and it sort of, the soil breaks up as the disc turns it and hits the ground. And if you do too wet, you get these clumps, and you can ride over those things 20 times and not get them. When it was too dry, the disc just doesn't penetrate. So there's a day that's right for each one. And he taught us. He'd come out with a shovel and say, okay, this is the day, wait. And you end up, you take one pass mowing, and then you take 2 passes disking, and you're done. You're done, that's it. And also, it's the stage where you form all that different kinds of weeds, or plants, not really weeds, plants, you form the seeds for them. And you wait till the seeds are formed as well. And when you put those back in the soil, you've reseeded for next year the same stuff. If you did it earlier than that, also, not only it would not work, it'd be too wet, but you'd destroy the seeds. So it's the timing to do that is, if you do that just right, you're done. It's sort of like we're talking about everything else in the cellar. If you think about it, have some awareness, and get everything just right, you do less, you tread less on the vineyard, and you make better stuff. So it's really fun. And we don't feel like you should be spraying. And the guys who do biodynamic, fine. But that's just not the way we do it. And we think that some of that stuff you put on is over treating, and even organic. Okay, so you say I better put some foliar nutrients on that are organic. We don't want to. We don't want any nutrients. I better kill these insects. Well, it's organic insecticide, but you're killing good stuff too. We've been lucky enough not to kill anything, so we've got all the parasites that to the bad insects around. So we just don't get a population of bad insects.
What kind of pressures do you have on the vineyard?
Right now, none. I don't know why. Well, the one we would have would have been Pierce's disease from leafhoppers. And well, you just figure out that leafhoppers, they don't prefer grapes. They've used them, but they overwinter in things like periwinkle and a few other things. So we had some periwinkle, and so we just cut those back, got rid of the periwinkle, like a 40, 50-foot perimeter around the vineyard, and we learned that they don't hop to the vineyard if you do that. So we've never had Pierce's disease. We've had, if you keep the dust down, you don't have spider mites. Well, since we disc twice when the soil's just right, we don't have dust. So you set the environment up, but you don't have to do anything. Instead of, if you're aware of that, then you don't have to treat afterwards, whether organic or not. The best is don't treat. Set the whole thing up so you don't treat. So
it's really interesting.
Yeah, we think it's maybe one step. You got regular farming, you got integrated pest management. You still use the petrochemical things, but you wait till the disease pressure is economically such that you have to spray. Then you got organic, and then you have biodynamic, and this is one step further because you're almost doing nothing. Now, if we had a neighbor who had a whole bunch of bad farming practices, we were downwind from them, we'd be stuck.
Yeah.
You'd have to. Yeah.
You gotta have this isolation.
You have to have. Well, yeah, or let's put it this way, take advantage of it. If you have it, take advantage of it. Great wine's been made with petrochemicals. I mean, that we can all get examples of that. But if you got a nice spot where you can do that, why not take advantage of it? Express the spot. And that's what we're trying to do here, really express what the spot gives. And that's one of the things that's unique about it.